Welcome to This Explainer. Let's jump right in. Today, we're decoding the hidden psychological and behavioral tricks that truly powerful speakers use to completely command a room. Because, it's really not just about the words you say. It's an absolute art form of creating this undeniable presence. So let's dive right into how this actually works. Okay, picture the scenario with me. You're sitting in a meeting, right? One person starts speaking, maybe pitching an idea, but the room's reaction is, well, it's completely cold. Eyes are scattered, people are kind of politely checking their phones. We all know that mildly agonizing feeling when nobody really cares. But then somebody else opens their mouth to speak, and instantly the entire room falls dead silent. They have everyone's full undivided attention. So why does that happen? What's the actual secret behind this massive contrast between being completely ignored and being utterly captivating?
Well, that brings us to our very first major mindset shift, and honestly, it's a crucial one. Charisma is absolutely not some innate genetic gift that you're just lucky enough to be born with. The secret isn't in your DNA, which, hey, is fantastic news for all of us. It's actually in the smart, deliberate tactics you use when interacting with others. It's an entire system of behavioral mechanisms that anyone, literally anyone, can learn, practice, and master.
So here's our blueprint for today's explainer. 1. The illusion of innate charisma. 2. The power of strategic silence. 3. Open loops and curiosity. 4. Mastering tone and rhythm. And 5. A daily action plan. All right, section 1. The illusion of innate charisma, breaking the genetic myth. Let's unpack the core secret of commanding respect before a single word even leaves your mouth. See, the real secret to presence isn't what most people think. It's not rushing to speak just so you can grab the spotlight before someone else does. Actually, it's what we call the smart pause. This is a calculated, totally deliberate silence. Think about a time someone asked a remarkably tough question in a meeting, and the speaker just waited. That wasn't them hesitating. That was the smart pause establishing absolute control. When you pause deliberately like that, you literally force the audience to lean in. You build this intense anticipation for what's coming next. Moving right along to section 2, the power of strategic silence, and exactly why speaking immediately is a massive mistake. Look, if you jump into a conversation the millisecond you get a chance, you're exposing nervousness. It makes you look incredibly rushed, almost like you're absolutely terrified of losing your spot in the conversation, or, afraid someone's going to steal your thunder. That frantic energy, it instantly kills your authority. True presence requires stability and calm. When you rush, you just seem tense, like a deer in the headlights, and your audience subconsciously absorbs every bit of that tension. The source material actually has this beautiful comparison. It likens a strategic pause to an action movie director stopping the scene right before the climax. Imagine being in the movie theater, right? The camera zooms in on the hero's face, the deafening soundtrack suddenly drops out, and everything goes incredibly quiet. The tension spikes. You are immediately on the edge of your seat. And that's the point. You want to create that exact same delicious tension right before you drop your most important point. Which brings us to section 3, open loops and sparking curiosity. This is all about exploiting the human brain's desperate need for closure. So, let's talk about holding that attention once you finally have it. Just listen to this sentence for a second. There is a simple mistake 90% of people make. Now, notice what happens in your brain right now. It immediately triggers a psychological curiosity gap. You're probably instantly wondering, wait, what is the mistake? Am I making it? The human brain naturally despises missing pieces in a puzzle. We are hardwired to crave answers. This psychological trigger is what's known as the open loop effect. By deliberately withholding those crucial details up front, you basically force your listener to internally ask questions. You're delaying the answer, which means they have to hang on to your every word. They are desperately waiting to close that loop and reach a satisfying conclusion. It demands immense focus from them. If you use this in your pitches or presentations, you ensure your audience is fiercely attentive rather than just, passively hearing background noise. Okay, section 4, mastering tone and body language, aligning your voice and posture for maximum impact. Because we really need to align what you're saying with how you actually sound and look. Keeping someone's attention is practically impossible with a boring, monotone delivery. You absolutely have to actively control your vocal pacing based on your specific goal. If you want to generate excitement and passion, well, you need a fast pace and a high-energy voice. But, and this is key, if your goal is suspense or you need to highlight a vital piece of information, you dramatically slow your pace. You use short pauses. You consciously drop into a deeper, much calmer voice. Shifting dynamically like that between fast and slow, high and low, it makes your speech magnetic. It makes it genuinely impossible to tune out.
But remember, communication isn't just audio. If your body language contradicts your voice, people will instantly believe your body over your words, every single time. Confident traits, like having straight posture and holding steady eye contact, allow you to naturally take up appropriate space in the room. On the flip side, credibility killers like nervous tics or a shrinking posture, they just destroy your presence. And let's quickly address the absolute biggest credibility killers of all. Filler words like and ah. They make you sound deeply unsure. The real trick here is to replace every single with total, absolute silence. That silence adds heavy weight to your thoughts instead of polluting the air with weak sounds.
All right, Section 5, the daily action plan, putting theory into practice tomorrow morning. It's time to translate all of this theory into a highly actionable blueprint. So, here are 4 crystal clear steps to apply in your very next conversation. Step 1, force yourself to pause for exactly 2 seconds before you speak your first word. Hold the room. Step 2, use an unexpected opening sentence to spark curiosity and open a loop immediately. Step 3, consciously alternate your vocal speed and tone depending on the emotion of your message. And step 4, actively trade every or ah for a powerful, smart, silent pause. I know it's a simple checklist, but trust me, if you actually do this, the impact on your perceived authority is going to be staggering.
As we bring all these strategies together to wrap up this explainer, I want us to reflect on a profound insight from our source material. Charisma isn't speaking a lot, but making sure your words are worth listening to. Honestly, that brilliantly summarizes the entire concept. True power and presence, they're never about the sheer quantity of your words. It is entirely about the weight those words carry and exactly how you strategically, deliberately deliver them to your audience.
Which leaves us with one final, absolutely crucial question to ask yourself before you step into your next meeting, or honestly, even your next casual conversation. How will you give your next words heavy weight? Will you utilize the smart pause? Will you open a curiosity loop? Keep this in mind and use these tools to completely own the room the next time you walk in.